But waterboarding is pouring water on someone who's tied with his mouth open, up in the, facing up, and they get the sensation that they're drowning, right? And some people have actually died under that procedure. So I would say it's pretty clearly torture.
Well, I would say it was torture too. I mean, Colin Powell went around after he got out. You know, he was out of out of office, and he documented that during this whole imprisonment thing that we had 27 people that died during harsh interrogation. Okay, may have been waterboarding. Well, to me, that's murder. I mean, I don't know any other way you look at it. These people were innocent people. And somebody say, well, why do you say they're innocent? Well, we never charged them with a crime. They never got to go before a court. They never had a jury of their peers. Those are all things supposedly that if you have committed a crime, that's what we do. That's what the United States of America is supposed to do to people who do with people that they suspect have committed a crime. But instead, we put them in some prison somewhere, tortured them to death. And that's the other thing that wasn't brought up much. You know, we tortured these people. Well, you know, it really wasn't that bad. Was waterboarding torture? We killed people. Okay, that was bad. You know, that's the problem. It wasn't how bad was waterboarding. Is that we killed people while we were interrogating them. People that none of us even know who they are. You know, we didn't even find out why they were there, what they did, what crime they committed, but they're dead. And to me, that's a horrible thing that was done in the name of the United States of America and freedom and whatever it is that we're fighting for.
You say it's not in accord with the American system, but those principles of not having torture and a right to a trial before a jury, that goes back to the Magna Carta. That's the 1500s, way before America. That's the British system, and even if you go back to Rome, there was a question that people had rights and a trial, and they didn't just torture anybody at random. I don't know what we're coming to. And then they say that torture is necessary. Is torture necessary? You don't get valid information from torture.
I don't think in a free society should even be thought of, or even you know, it's something that we shouldn't be doing in a free society. I mean, if an open free society should not condone torture in any way, and what we're doing is wrong, and you know, the U.S. government doesn't seem to be listening to the people, so you know, you have to think of other options.
Then, after 7 years, there's a question. Barack Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize. He's just been awarded the Peace Prize, and the Guantanamo's still open. There's still probably people being waterboarded, and the question comes up: should we prosecute these people, or should we just let them go? What do you think? Should they be prosecuted?
Well, certainly, but I think it's too late. Unfortunately, I mean, because once again, a lot of psychologists and people will tell you that if you waterboard somebody 183 times, their brain is mush. They have nothing left, and that's one of the goals of this treatment, is mind control. I mean, the CIA has been working on this for 50 years. In the 50s, they were giving people LSD, and they've worked through various means of controlling people's minds. And you know, if you torture somebody enough, I mean, just isolation days, 7 days without sleep, you can get them to say or do whatever you want them to. So at this point, putting any of these people on trial that have been tortured, and the attorneys have pointed this out, you can't do it. There's nothing left for them to say that may still be their own thoughts at this point. So you'd have to find the ones who we haven't tortured. They would be the only ones that would have a chance of getting a fair trial. I mean, that's the problem. We violated all these international laws, and now we want to bring these people into our system that we, as a people, as a country, decided long ago this is the way we want things done. Well, we've invalidated the system. The system won't work now that we've done this to these people for 7 years. And unfortunately, they'll never get a fair trial either, because everybody thinks they're guilty. And it used to be innocent until proven guilty. But now, because of the media, everybody is pretty darn convinced that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was the mastermind of 9/11. Okay, everybody's convinced that a lot of these people whose names they don't even know that are in Guantanamo Bay are guilty, although they've not been shown one bit of evidence, not even one tiny bit of evidence, that any of these people had anything to do with 9/11. But because of the intense campaign by the press and the over and over again of repeating these people's names, the majority of the people think they're guilty. So how could they ever get a fair trial?
No, I just let them go, close it, let them go. That's what Barack Obama promised, right? And we just close the thing. But as we're seeing, we're not getting any of those promises fulfilled. Or at least that's one of them that's not being fulfilled.
He's let us down, the people who voted for him.
Oh, absolutely.
You brought up an interesting point there, Pete. You said Khalid Sheikh Mohammed now is thought to be the mastermind of 9/11.
Right. That's what the, I guess the CIA, whoever's telling us these things, they say that he's confessed. Of course, he's one of the guys that's been waterboarded 183 times. So I don't know whether he confessed after the 120th waterboard or 183, and that's when they stopped, or was it after the second one? So, I mean, we'll never know that. But yes, he's the guy. He's the new guy. He's the new boogeyman, correct.
Well, I thought it was Osama bin Laden.
Well, I think they gave up on that a long time ago because 6 months after 9/11, everybody knows somebody asked George Bush, how come you haven't caught him? And he said, I'm not really concerned with him, which was a pretty amazing statement at the time because he was the guy. I mean, he supposedly did 9/11. But then we recently found out that the FBI doesn't even want Osama bin Laden in connection with the crime. So I think that they still use him as the poster boy, and they bring out those fake audio tapes once in a while that he's promising another attack. But first of all, most people think he's dead, that he died in December of 2001. And I think they've switched over, have switched over to saying that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is the guy. But I mean, it's once again, it's a lot of stuff that we don't really know. I mean, because they'll print stuff and they'll say stuff, but they don't really give us any reason as to why. Even with the Osama bin Laden, within 10 minutes after 9/11, they said this was the guy, but they never told us why. In fact, that leads into probably one of your questions about Afghanistan. But yes, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is the guy who is the latest evil, mastermind of 9/11.
But now this has interesting implications. This ties into, as you mentioned, Afghanistan. What was the reason that we've been at war in Afghanistan now for 7 years, and why did we go over there? Do people remember back in 2001, 9/11, the Trade Center was attacked, and then within 2 weeks, the Bush administration decided that it had been Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda that did it, and then they asked the Taliban, which was the legitimate government of Afghanistan at that time, to turn him over. And the response of the government in Afghanistan was that, well, we have no evidence that Osama bin Laden did it. Will you give us the evidence? And if you can show us evidence that Osama bin Laden really orchestrated the attack on the Trade Center, why then we will hand him over to you. Well, no, the Bush Bush administration said, no, we know that he did it, and so in goes the army and kills all these people in Afghanistan, and we have a big war for 7 years, and now suddenly our government is telling us that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was the one who did it, and Osama bin Laden didn't?
Apparently that's what it looks like. They changed their mind, but I mean, everybody knows that there was a litany of lies that got us in there anyway. I mean, people joke about it, and I think it's sad that they do. Like, where's the weapons of mass destruction? We never found them, and the terrorist ties with Saddam Hussein and everything. But, I mean, this is something important. I mean, I was talking to some college students one day, and one of them's in the military, and he's ready to go over there. And he has no idea why we're in Afghanistan or why he's going over there. He just knows that he's going over there. I mean, this is unfortunate to kill people. He's all psyched up about this. And one thing, I think you kind of have to be, if you're going to do that. I mean, I hate to say it's like a sporting event, but if you don't have that mindset, how are you going to mentally survive over there? But the fact that he doesn't know why he's going over there, what we're fighting for. I mean, I listened to Ron Paul the other day asking, just 2 days ago, questioning Congress, why are we there? And nobody could come up with a reason. You know, part of it is they've gone through so many lies, they've almost run out of, you know, even semi-legitimate reasons as to why we're over there. But, you know,